y'all, it's Mercy here with Isaac, and today we are going to be going through Marvel movies and rating them. So basically, we're going to go through, I think there's like 26 total, 23, 26. And we'll just give them a rating between 1 and 5, 5 being the best, 1 being the worst. Um, we might share which ones are some of our favorites. I know you have a little bit more of like, hey, these are my absolute favorites and these are like my absolute least favorite. Um, but yeah, I think that explains it.
Yeah, one of the things that we wanted to do with this is one, first off, this is totally impromptu. Like, there's not a whole lot of what she just explained is what we discussed before starting. So there's other than that, it's really is free flowing. Um, the second thing is that the goal of this is to like we're not trying to not cause controversy. Actually, we're okay if these takes are controversial. Um, so if you have differing opinions, you're welcome to comment them, but
Yeah.
these are ours. So the third thing, speaking of controversy, we just wanted to start this controversy off. We didn't do Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
So y'all can get up in arms about that if that's something you want to get up in arms about. But we didn't.
Just
And
not our jam.
not our thing. Whatever.
Um,
We do watch the movies with Doctor
like
Strange,
yeah,
but
the
not the Doctor
Avengers,
Strange
but
movies. Yes. Yeah.
and then also we both kind of overall quit watching Marvel after Endgame. I watched the Hawkeye show, which I did really enjoy. Um, Black Widow, which I can't remember exactly where that is on the timeline. Um, and we've both seen Falcon and Winter Soldier. Um, we kind of just lost interest after Endgame.
Maybe that's controversial too.
I don't know, but anyway,
We did see Spider-Man No Way Home.
that's
So
true.
we'll talk
I
about
keep
that one.
forgetting.
But yeah.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, ready?
Okay. So, got a handy dandy little list pulled up. All right, Captain America: First Avenger.
5.
Yeah, it's 5. Some of the best Marvel storytelling.
Yep.
Um, and that's
Great movie.
your favorite.
Top.
Right?
It's number 2.
Yeah.
Yep.
What do you specifically like about that movie?
I like the historical fiction element. I like the hey, you're gonna get all you're gonna go from skinny to super jacked, but like never let it change who you are. Tell storyline. I like the hints at vibranium. I like the hints at Howard Stark, like that kind of thing. Like you're already seeing some of the other Avengers storytelling already manifesting itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
I really really like the movie overall. Just just good fun historical fiction. I like that most of the movie is set in World War II.
Yeah.
World War II time. So
Haley Atwell is phenomenal as Peggy Carter. And I think that movie really, really showcases like what Marvel did in its time was unprecedented, where they created so many storylines and small stories that weaved into one big movie.
yeah.
And you see that with the vibranium and all of that. So
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, Captain Marvel.
1.
Yeah, 1-0. Absolute worst Marvel movie in my opinion.
Bad movie.
Like,
don't waste your time.
I feel like, and maybe this is just like the part of me like trying to. I feel like they could have done good with it, and it totally was a bomb for me. So,
I didn't like it. Bad movie.
Iron Man 1. I think it's a 3.
4. Probably potentially 5.
Okay.
I really like the movie. I like the conscious stricken arms dealer plot line. I like the billionaire has everything until, he has to scrap his way out of it type plot line. I love how they set up Tony Stark's character. I love the build into Iron Man. I love the kind of the the Elon Musk type building things, and
Yeah.
I think it's neat.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
I only get like I feel like all of the Iron Man movies are pretty solid. My favorite is Iron Man 3.
Mm,
So,
mm.
which I don't think was that popular, but I don't know. I really liked
Again,
it. I
controversy.
liked how they like more of Pepper's storyline in the third one.
Okay.
So, let's see. Iron Man 2.
Three-ish,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
I
It's
honestly
not a bad
don't
movie. I didn't
remember that much about that one.
hate it. Well, I think that fact right there that you don't remember that much about it
Yeah.
tells you how uninspiring it kind of was.
Fair.
I mean, Elon Musk cameo is the only thing that made me not give it a 2. Speaking of Elon Musk, but yeah,
Yeah. So help me out here. Is 2 or 3 the one with Hurley, the little kid? That like
3.
okay, that's what I thought. That
Yeah,
does
3.
change which one.
3.
Okay. Because I also thought that was a really cool
Yeah, 3.
storyline.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
hot take, he should have been the next Iron Man.
Is there? I guess they kind of did that
They're
with
doing
Peter
another.
Parker.
No, they're doing another. Like they're bringing from what I think I saw something that said they're bringing on like another Iron Man character, like something Hart or something. And
They're bringing a new Captain America. They're bringing a new Iron Man.
Okay, this one I can't speak on. The Incredible Hulk.
One bad movie. Don't watch
Okay.
it.
I saw
Something like that.
Avengers, and that was the first Hulk that I ever saw.
Hmm.
And to me, Mark Ruffalo just embodied the character so well. I was never interested.
I think the critical error that the Incredible Hulk makes is that like his origin story is being shown in the opening credits rather than it being a part of the movie. And I think I wanted to know like what was this man's drive and desire to do what he did. And it doesn't really dive into that. It's just like I'm this now super awkward guy who turns green and destroys things. And it's like okay, like it's
So it's not really an origin story.
yeah, it kind of just it loses the origin, the meaning behind it. It's kind of like, oh, he did this, and now the bad guy's like, I want to do it too. And so at the end of it, there's big green hawk fighting big green lizard guy, and that's the I don't know. It's just not a very good movie. Also, there's some scenes in it that are kind of gross. Like I don't like
I don't even
not
know
like
who plays him in the original.
it's not Mark Ruffalo.
Right, I knew that.
I don't know who it is, but there's like some like needle injection scenes and stuff that's just like, what are you doing? Like, I don't
Yeah. I don't know. Thor 1.
Oh, it's the cleanest Marvel movie.
Is it really?
I bet. It's up there.
Well, that's because yeah, I was gonna say Captain America: First Avenger, but that's got my brain just blanked on it. The old crotchety guy that's grumpy.
Tommy Lee Jones. Yeah. Yeah. Um. So Thor. It, 3.
If
I like the scene where the redneck guys in New Mexico are trying to
that's fair.
have like a barbecue and are trying to yank the hammer off. I think that's funny.
Okay, so I might have to give this a 4 because
A 4.
So yeah, one I'm not as big of a Loki fan as a lot of people are, and I think that at some point they should have just killed him. That is like one of Marvel's biggest errors is they don't just kill someone. Phil Coulson's death completely loses its meaning when they bring him back later on. All of that. I liked the origin story of Loki, and I think Tom Hiddleston's acting in that movie, where like he realizes that he's not actually related, was phenomenal. But that also is the movie that is kind of Hawkeye's introduction, if you'll remember. Because when they're at Hawkeye's my favorite character in Marvel. So, but yeah, that kind of was his little bit of an intro.
Right.
But yeah. I would probably give that a 4. It's a 3. I don't know.
It wasn't one of those movies that I like stopped watching and I was like, oh, that's.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Yeah. Fair. The Avengers, the first one. I would give that a 5.
I think it's a 4 or a 5.
Okay.
I really really like the scene where they're all arguing
Mhm.
because it's one of the most like genuine. It's one of the more genuine scenes in Marvel, and it's the that has the whole
Mhm.
take the suit off. What are you? When where Tony Stark says the
Yeah.
like playboy billionaire philanthropist,
Yeah.
and then Black Widow's like, and so like it has like that discourse in it that's really good. And he's like, everything special about you came out of a bottle, and then Thor's, you people are so petty,
Yeah.
and like that scene I really like. The whole I'm gonna bring a space from Earth is like kind of generic in my mind, and that's why in my head it's a 4 because it's like, oh, I have a space army. I'm gonna my magic wand that makes people do what I want. Bring a space army down to New York City. Like, I mean, sure, but there's some really genuine scenes in it.
Mhm.
Um, the scene where like Thor is introduced because they captured Loki is really neat.
I like the scene where Mark Ruffalo's Hulk is introduced in that
Mhm.
movie as well.
Yep.
I really also liked the Black Widow character in that movie.
Mhm.
Um, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's solid.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's a likable movie. I finished it and I liked it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I think it more so even than like the Iron Man movies, when Tony takes the nuke, right? He takes a nuke up
Mhm.
into the wormhole.
Mhm.
That was kind of like one of the first times you see that Tony's not doing things just for himself.
Mhm.
Um, so I really like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Thor: The Dark World.
It's a 1 or a 2.
So you're gonna see me give very few Marvel movies a 1 or 2. I still give this one a 3 because I think that the banter, it's quite honestly a horrible movie, and I probably have seen it twice. The banter between Thor and Loki in that movie I thought was funny.
I didn't like it.
But
It,
I didn't like the whole like Jane had the stuff like in her and then they have to pull it out of her. I don't know. I thought that was weird.
no.
Um Iron Man 3. I would give that a 5.
Yeah.
I really liked the Hurley storyline and I really liked like Pepper's
Yeah,
story
that's true.
in that one.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know why I didn't really resonate with that movie much. Um I guess I kind of felt like I don't know. I just didn't I'd say 3 or 4. I didn't resonate with it much. I
Yeah.
guess the like the guys who are like
The fiery.
uh-huh,
I
I don't
didn't
know.
like that part. It was super
I
weird.
don't know.
I mean, even in Marvel movies, I'm a sucker for the romance storylines. And I really liked, like,
Mm-hmm.
Tony actually, again, I am a Tony Stark fan, and I probably sound like I'm not,
Mm-hmm.
but I like the character growth of him so much.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know. Captain America Winter Soldier.
Captain America Winter Soldier is
About
the best
5.
Marvel movie and arguably a top 10 movie of all time.
Mhm.
Here's the simple reasons in my opinion on why this is. So, the plot line is super interesting because it's all about the 21st century digital book, you know what I mean? All your data being online and then being able to take you out based on it, which is 100% a possibility and a reality. We have seen more and more in our culture your online data being censored and cracked down on. People,
Yeah.
People kind of pigeonholing you based on what's available of you online, and then making opinions on based on that and making judgments. And you've seen more and more how like there's this exchange where like Falcon throws the one guy off the roof, and then comes and picks him up, and he starts like listing off all these factors that are more likely to make you resist this like regime that's coming in, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, like
Yeah.
those kind of metrics actually exist. And so to have someone like Captain America who finds out about that compromise, completely resists that compromise, then finds out that his friend is that, lifelong buddy friend
It's
is
still
at the center, is alive, yes, and at the center of that compromise. The scene where Nick Fury um almost gets captured is just awesome. Like the little truck thing, and the whole like the air conditioning still online line in it, that scene's awesome. The scene at the end where Falcon and the Rumlow guy are is awesome. The scene
Well, I was gonna say just alone, the introduction of Falcon to the Marvel universe in that movie.
Yep.
Say what you will, I'm not the biggest fan of Falcon taking on the Captain America mantle. I think it should have just been retired.
Yep.
The character of Falcon is a phenomenal, phenomenal character.
Yep.
Yeah. There's so many good, and even like Nat's like, her like crisis of trying to figure out who to trust. And you also see like, because I mean Hawkeye was what helped turn her good, but Cap is almost what helps her find some of her own morality.
Right. Right.
And I like that.
I love the exchange between the two of them where it's like, if the roles were reversed and you had to trust me to save you, would you? And his response is, I would now. And that's awesome. The price of freedom is high. If I'm the only one willing to pay it, so be it. But I'm willing, but I'm not. Line is fantastic.
Also,
the whole dichotomy that you have of peace with a gun aimed at everybody's head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Versus fear, and that initial exchange. I mean, I really, really, really like Captain America: Winter Soldier. Think it's just a great movie from start to finish. Super, super interesting.
Yeah. And I think too, like when Captain America is giving that speech, and you see the different people around the Shield facility, most of them are dying.
Oh.
But that is just like, I love the scene of people just choosing to make the right decision. And also the guy at the computer, I don't know the character's name because I know he cameos later on too. But yeah, I liked that.
I don't know how I didn't mention that. The guy at the computer scene is the first time that I've cried in a movie. And I don't cry. I don't cry in movies. Like that's, it just doesn't occur to me as something to do. But where the guy's aiming the gun in his head and he's like freaking out that he's like, I am not gonna launch the carriers, is like, that scene to me was just super, super power packed. And so again, just great scene after great scene. The elevator scene is in that movie.
That's a
the
the introduction of Peggy's great niece, which my brain is blanking on her name right now. The next door neighbor of Captain America. That's Peggy's niece.
Oh yes. Yeah.
She's an interesting character.
Yeah.
I still don't know how I feel about her, but like, it was an interesting introduction.
Yeah.
But that's a great movie.
Good movie for sure.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
All right. It's a 3 movie.
That's fair. I love the music. I hadn't heard most of it before that movie, but great movie. No one other than Chris Pratt could play that character.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny, it's lighthearted.
It added a more lighthearted touch to the Marvel universe,
but
and I still have like,
it's too stupid.
That's part of my problem is like, I like Guardians of the Galaxy, but I feel like they added something into the Marvel universe that I still can't decide if it was good or bad.
I don't know. I like Star-Lord. and I don't know about everybody else.
So I like
That's my problem.
Gamora. Honestly, I think one of my favorites is Nebula. I like her storyline.
Yeah, I I agree. Agree with that generally. Like I like Nebula. I like
I mean,
yeah.
Groot is funny and
Rocket
adorable.
and Rocket has like two funny lines.
Yeah.
And Drax has like two funny lines in the MCU. But and Chris Pratt's funny,
Yeah.
but this I don't know.
See, my problem is I feel like up until that point, like Marvel had humor. Like they had out and out laugh out loud funny. Like in the first Avengers movie when the Hulk grabs Loki and just smashes him. You crack up laughing.
Right.
But Guardians of the Galaxy added in the stupid kind of humor that you laugh at and it's funny, but you're also like, okay, now I feel like it's kind of lost some of its like meaning or
Weight.
depth.
Yeah.
That's a good
I feel
point.
that way for sure. For
Um,
sure. Yeah, and in like there's a Marvel kind of humor that I think is funny. I just prefer more Tony Stark, like
right.
the when he's using the Mind Stone on him, he's like, well, performance issues,
Yeah.
1 out of 5, and then Loki picks him up and throws him out the window, and
Yeah.
and then Hulk comes up and flings him around like
Yeah.
that.
That's what I'm saying. Like Marvel had a type of humor, and I feel like as much as I like will sit down and enjoy Guardians, it Guardians almost like took away a little bit from Marvel. I don't know. Guardians of the Galaxy too.
One, there's a 2 minute scene in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 that everyone needs to watch. It is absolutely hilarious. Other than that 2 minute scene, you can throw out the entire movie. The scene where Rocket is explaining to Groot what Groot needs to do in order to, like set the detonation correctly or whatever. And then in the middle of this battle, he's asking Peter Quill for tape, and he goes, "Will Scotch work?" Like the whole interaction is hilarious. 2 minutes, 3 minutes in there throughout the rest of the movie.
I would
The rest of the
probably
movie,
give
it's a
it.
one movie.
It's a 1 or 2 to me. Um, I agree with that, and I think again the music is gonna be like a 4 or 5 out of you know. Guardians of the Galaxy is known for the music that they have in there. Um, I really like, and I cannot think of the character's name. I have not seen the Guardians movies in probably like 5 years at least.
Hmm.
Um, it's like Yondu's right hand man, and he kind of like starts to change for good in that movie, and I really like that.
Hmm.
And I haven't seen the third Guardians movie, but they said like he takes on a better like good role in that movie, so I think that's kind of cool.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's not a great movie at all. The whole like his dad, and then they have to destroy the whole planet. It's just weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Oh,
It's a 5 out of 5.
I like Ultron.
You like?
I kind of do.
Okay.
I kind of like Ultron. Um, I love the scene where Captain America makes Thor's hammer budge. I love that scene because that's one of the more controversial scenes in Marvel.
Oh, I like that scene.
Was Captain America ready to pick up the hammer and he chose not to embarrass Thor?
Yes. Because you
Or
can either make it move or you can't.
was he not quite worthy yet, and so he only got it to budge but wasn't able to get it to pick all
So
the
I've
way up?
heard it argued that he wasn't worthy because at the time he knew about Bucky killing Tony's parents.
You can
That
argue
was the
both.
thing holding him back. In my opinion, you can't move the hammer unless you're worthy. But that's my opinion. I'm not in any way like any sort of expert on like that whole Marvel thing.
That's true because in the Avengers movie, Hulk
Right.
can't even get it to budge.
Mm-hmm.
Like he locks it and won't. I don't know. It's just I love that scene. Anyway, didn't mean to reduce the entire movie to the one scene.
I mean, in my mind, that movie is so pivotal to like the Avengers as a team, and that's why I hold that up as such a phenomenal movie. It shows them bringing on more people.
It does have Hawkeye as the like
is phenomenal.
Yeah,
in that
as
movie.
he gets revealed as a dad in that
I
movie,
love
which
the
was really,
storyline
really
of
good.
his family.
Mhm.
And like I love like his wife's character. The fact that he's just had this whole family hidden away that no one knew about other than Natasha and Fury. Also he just has some hilarious one-liners in that movie. Um, Wanda and Quicksilver, I liked Wanda's character back then. Quicksilver was a great character. And also, um, I like how it's kind of philosophical, which I know we've discussed that before.
So one of my favorite scenes in Age of Ultron
Mm-hmm.
is at the very end when the final Ultron that's left
Mm-hmm.
meets with Vision, and basically Ultron shares all of his concerns with humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And Ultron's like, they're doomed.
Yeah.
They're gonna, destroy each other, beat up on each other, like they're completely doomed. And Ultron's or Vision's response to Ultron is, but there's grace in their failings.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you may have missed that. And so it's like, again, Christians try to like spiritualize everything in secular things sometimes, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's a Christian theme
Yeah.
in a secular movie. Like I've seen that done with like Taylor Swift songs, and it's like, all right, no, like, sorry,
Yeah.
there's just nothing there. You're making too much of it. That being said, Christians believe that humans are doomed, but that there is grace provided in Jesus Christ.
Right.
Through even despite their failings, Jesus Christ provides grace, which, that I don't want to make. I almost said I don't want to make more of that. I don't want to make more of that parallel. I definitely want to make a lot of, the grace provided in Christ through His death on the cross. But that I did like that exchange because I was like, oh, that's actually
it's really good. Vision is a fun like he's a good character. Like he's not one of my favorites. And Ultron was an interesting villain. Um, I also really I liked Hawkeye's speech to Wanda Scarlet Witch. Um, and I also really like the scene. Like this is right after they first interacted with Wanda and Quicksilver, and Hill had been doing like research on them, and she makes like a comment about them letting people, mess with them. And Captain America makes a comment and she's like, well, but we're not at war. And his response is, well, but they are. And I just think it was a really like important scene of like showing like he's been the thing that the government just works on to make whatever. And so he kind of relates to them in a way. I don't know. uh Moving on because we spent a lot of time.
Expected to. That's good.
Ant-Man. I
I just don't like Ant-Man that much.
so I do, but I
Like-
also really like what's his name?
Hank Pym,
No, I hate him.
the gal.
No, his friend. Why did my brain just blank on his name?
The Hispanic dude
Yeah, he's hilarious.
works for XCon.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's
Yeah. I would give the movie
Luis. No.
No, Luis is one of the other guys, I think. But my mom died. My dad got deported. But I got
this man. Yeah.
I cannot think of his name. I would give Ant-Man a 3. I think Paul Rudd is a really great actor, and I think that is part of why that movie can be pulled.
Yeah, it's Luis.
Is it Luis? Okay. I think that's part of why I can give that movie a 3. I really liked, this is a horrible reason. I Cassie and his relationship I thought was really sweet. Not that it's a horrible reason, but like it's a superhero movie, so like I don't know. I would still give it a 3. Again, you're gonna find me giving very few a 1 or a 2.
Yeah. It's alright. I don't know that I ever ranked that one. It's a terrific. Yeah, it's an amazing movie.
Okay, so this one is a little controversial. For you and I, Captain America: Civil War, 5 out of 5.
It's probably the one we disagree on the most. I think it's at best a 3, but probably a 2.
It's 5 out of 5. Yeah. You really, regardless of like whether you agree with, I'm just gonna say Tony's team or whether you agree with Cap's team, I really like how it showed all of them forming their own opinions. Um, Loved the introduction of Black Panther. Um, Bucky like kind of fully turning from good or from bad to good. Um, and it's also like one of those hard ones because like Captain America and Black Widow have kind of created this friendship, but then she takes Iron Man's side, but then she also kind of helps him get away. And also like I agree with Captain America, but I really, really respected the way I say respected like it's a real person. I really liked the way Rhodey like handled the whole thing. Like he thought what he made was the right decision, but he didn't get like bitter and all of that the way Tony did. Um, but honestly, I think my favorite scene in the movie is Captain America and Bucky and Iron Man are fighting and whatever. Um, and you kind of hear the reason why. What's his name? The bad guy.
Zemo.
Zemo, why he did what he did. Black Panther, that's why I like the character of Black Panther, is that scene. Just the way he interacts with him, and then when Zemo tries to kill himself, and he's
The
like,
line,
the world is
vengeance
against
is,
me.
or
Yeah.
the living art finished with you yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then when he's like, vengeance has taken over them,
I'm
it
done letting
consumed
it consume me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's definitely a neat line of that movie for sure.
Um,
And seeing him interact with Zemo. Yeah.
I really liked it. I liked how also like, what was it? 3 or 4 of them end up getting imprisoned because of being on Cap's team, and then Cap rescues him and stuff. I don't know. I don't like the team fighting, but I really like how it kind of created like all of them at some point. People are going to disagree on things, and theirs was obviously a very, very dramatic disagreement um that got conflated by the wrong person. But I really liked seeing each of them form their own opinions and stuff. I don't know. Why do you dislike it so much?
I don't, because I hate fight scenes when you know no one's not gonna die. No one's gonna die. Like, I'm sorry, the fight scenes aren't consequential. Like, the whole airport scene is just stupid to me. Because it's like, oh, I shoot rocket at you. You throw shield.
But I'm not actually gonna injure you. Yeah.
But I won't actually hurt you because you can't. The Spider-Man introduction is so forced.
Yeah.
It is shoved into that movie. It's like, oh, we gotta have Spider-Man in the movie, so let's just,
They
come up with some random thing. The
it.
introduction of Black Panther in that movie is good. The introduction of Spider-Man in that movie is very poor.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a Captain America movie.
I
think it's an Avengers movie.
Ant-Man in that movie because he's had an introduction prior to Falcon.
Yeah, it's. I mean,
but, yeah, I agree
they're trying to shove too many characters into that movie overall, though. Like
there,
they brought Ant-Man in, and it's like, oh, let's shove Ant-Man in, because we have Ant-Man too,
right?
And it's like they literally, basically, it's like, okay, I disagree with Tony, so I'm gonna go get my friends, and well, I disagree with Steve, so I'm gonna go get my friends, and we're gonna beat up on each other, but not really do anything.
Right.
and then Black Widow's actually going to change midway through and throw shot
Well,
collars
it's not that she
at
changes.
T'Challa. You know what I mean? While Cap and Bucky run out of there, and I mean,
It's not that she changes though. It's that she realizes that they're trying to stop something and she doesn't agree with their viewpoint, but she's realizing that they need to stop something.
but it's all like the whole
But
thing.
Black Panther
then,
would have
like,
killed Bucky at that point.
and then like the whole like they get to the facility and Zemo didn't want the Winter Soldiers. He actually just wanted to show them a video. Like what the heck? Why did he bring them? Why did Zemo bring them all the way to somewhere in Russia to show them a video?
Because he wanted them alone so that they could destroy each other.
I mean, and then Captain America and Iron Man are really mad at each other, so they're gonna beat up on each other. Oh gosh, I'm taking Captain America's shield because it's actually my.
Well,
like
but
the
it's
whole
showing
thing is just.
how.
I don't know.
And so I don't like that either. I mean, I don't like confrontation or any of that period in like in real life. But I think that scene is important because it shows, you know, Bucky was brainwashed when he did all of those things. So he's like it's technically not his fault. It's not. Um but all it shows what blind rage can do. Because all that Tony has seen is that this person killed his parents, killed his mom.
Mm-hmm.
And so in that moment, he turns into that angry little child who lost their parent.
Mm-hmm.
And Cap is just trying to save his friend's life. Like, Cap's not even trying to, like, you know, win some war or whatever. He's just trying to save a life.
Right.
So.
I just the whole movie seemed so inconsequential to me. Like the stakes weren't very high. It's like, okay.
That's fair. But it is building.
Watch out, webs.
Later on. Yeah.
You know.
They should have come up with a better way to introduce Spider-Man.
Yeah. I don't know. I just did not like the whole like. It's like they almost kind of created their own gangs, and we're like, oh well, I disagree, so I'm gonna go get him, and you know, like, I mean, just I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, all of these tapes were meant to be controversial, so you can, you know, you can agree or disagree with all.
That's
of
really
things,
the
but yeah,
biggest disagreement you and I have.
Yeah, I don't like the movie.
Like,
I watched it again. We watched it again not too long ago.
Yeah.
I still don't like the movie. It's and it's not very Captain America either. Like,
I mean, it is.
yeah, but it's also almost as much about Tony as it is about Captain America.
Fair.
So it's an Avengers movie.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
They just wanted to have the America Civil War in the title.
Fair.
That's what I'm convinced of.
Fair. Yeah. I think that's probably going to be like the most disagreement between us on Marvel movies because I love that movie and you don't.
Yeah.
The Black Widow movie, because this is chronological.
Probably 3.
Can I give it a 3.5? I love Jelena.
The fat Russian dude.
Their adopted dad.
Yeah.
I don't like him.
It's kind of weird.
I also really don't like the mom, the adopted mom.
Yeah, and just the end is weird, and the.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just.
So I would give it a 3.5 because I liked a little bit more of Black Widow's story coming out.
I wish the entire movie were her backstory.
Scarlett Johansson is a phenomenal actress. I mean, I've only seen her in like, other than Marvel, like 2 things, but she's a really talented actress. And I don't feel like Marvel gave her that much of a chance to showcase that overall. And I also think Yelena is so funny. So that's why I would give it a higher rating. But they had the opportunity to like really, really, really delve into her storyline. And I think you could have kept Yelena. You could have even kept like if you wanted to have I can't think of the adopted parents' names. I don't know. It didn't. Spider-Man: Homecoming.
One.
Really that low?
I didn't like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would probably give it a 2. Tom Holland is like my second favorite Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield is the best. Tom Holland and the Toby.
There's a take you all can comment on.
Like the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man is like here, then Tom, and then Toby. I don't like Toby as Spider-Man.
I didn't like the villain. The villain in Spider-Man: Homecoming is terrible.
It's horrible.
It's so bad, and it's like, yeah, the villain's like so bad.
It's yeah. I did like Happy was in it. I like
I don't know.
don't
It's a teen flick. It's not a good movie.
yeah. The Black Panther movie.
So a lot of people really like this movie.
I liked Shuri.
Sure. I think it's a 2 or a 3 movie.
I would give it
Probably a 2. I just
I've only seen the movie in its entirety once.
yeah, it just I don't know, the whole like little mixture thing, like, oh, now I get the tendencies of a Black Panther. Like, I don't know.
I feel like I loved like Chadwick Boseman did phenomenal as Black Panther. I loved him in Captain America: Civil War, and then in Infinity War and Endgame. It, I feel like they didn't give his movie justice.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I would say it's a 2.5 or a 3.
Yeah.
It just I don't know. Yeah.
I don't think so either.
The next one in chronological order is the Doctor Strange movie. I hit that off after like 2 minutes. Thor Ragnarok.
It's a 4. So the scene. So Thor Ragnarok is a great movie.
It is. It's phenomenal.
The reason why Thor Ragnarok is the best Thor movie is because the director decided to let Chris Hemsworth be funny.
Mm-hmm.
Because Chris Hemsworth, I feel like, is not like this naturally noble guy, like who has this like, yeah, I'm just being honest, like, who has this like, high calling that he's aspiring
but
to.
they kind of
always
played
talking
that
about
way early on,
right? And so they're like, all right, let's just let him be an idiot, and it's hilarious. The beginning of the like right from the beginning of the movie. Oh, you're probably wondering what's Thor doing hanging in a cage,
Yeah.
like right from the and the whole like him spinning around at the very.
Yeah.
Hold on, wait a minute. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the scene where he meets Hulk, and the line where he says he's a friend from work is hilarious.
I liked the Get Help scene too.
Yeah, great, funny.
It's phenomenal.
The you want to know who I am, and Mark Ruffalo jumps out of the,
and then just like
blobs things like, oh
yeah.
It's but it's there's some scenes I hate the Rock guy.
Really?
I hate him.
He was funny.
No, I hate him.
I also really
kind of
liked
down here.
So I forgot to mention this earlier. Heimdall is like the saving grace of every Thor movie. Up until Thor Ragnarok, and then Thor is actually the best character.
Yeah.
I really liked Heimdall.
I mean, that's what heroes do.
Yeah.
It's just it's funny. It's just there's some things in it that are too stupid.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
So I really liked Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Okay.
I liked it a lot more than the first Ant-Man movie. I loved the building shrinking.
That was
the battle at the end where like they're like raising and shrinking all the different things. I think is just cool. It's probably only a 3 or a 4 movie.
I would give it a 3.
But it's way better than the first Ant-Man. The Ant-Man and the Wasp is so much better than the first Ant-Man. Yeah, much better movie. I think that it has more, like, there's just more going on. The action scenes are more actiony.
Yeah. I thought the FBI, I think it's FBI agent was funny in that.
Right. Yeah.
I know Quantum Realm becomes like a big thing.
Uh huh.
I didn't like the whole the girl that was like fading in and out.
Uh-huh.
I didn't like that storyline, and like she kind of disappeared after that. Like they made it until like she was gonna be this big character, and I don't think
Yeah,
I don't
but I
know.
mean, she was the the
But
bad guy
like
in
it was
that
like
movie.
she's
Like,
not actually bad. She's just whatever. And then it was like they were gonna make her into something, and then they never
yeah,
did.
yeah, 3 or 4.
Yeah,
I liked the just because I like the action scene so much at the end.
that's
I think of the shrinking and all the proportions of stuff is just fun. Like it's just a
yeah.
fun
And
fun movie.
yeah, we will move on to Infinity War.
Okay, so I like Infinity War more than Endgame for the same reason that I like Empire Strikes Back more than Return of the Jedi. Empire Strikes Back, at the end of it, you're given like this ain't over.
Hmm.
That feeling that like this ain't over. So many movies end with like good guys beat bad guys against all odds.
Right.
And then there's these really good movies that it's like good guys just had it handed to them,
Hmm.
but they're still gonna get them. And like
Right.
that feeling is almost more satisfying. Like the feeling of expectant hope almost is just I really really like it. And so
Yeah.
in Infinity War you have the awesome scene at the end where Thor gets Stormbreaker,
Hmm.
and
So that's
Thor's
also
Stormbreaker, um,
when Vision and Scarlet Witch are fighting the weird whatever,
and
and
they don't
Captain
fear
America
them, but
shows
then
up.
Captain
Yeah.
America shows up, and it's like they stop
Um,
because they know that he's there. That's super super
I
cool.
love that scene.
Uh huh.
Um,
I
yeah,
love
that's
Spider Man's it's like anything Spider Man going into space.
yeah,
You
that
know,
was funny, and his
your
whole like
powers are inconsequential to mine. Yeah, but the
yeah,
kid's seen more movies. You
his
know.
movie references are
Yep.
hilarious.
He's not my friend. Saving him would be more of a
Mhm.
professional courtesy.
Yeah,
It's just I like Infinity War a lot. I think that Infinity War is probably a 4 or a 5. It's a great movie.
I would give that one a 5, and I really really liked like I love the scenes where like everyone's coming together, and I love how Black Panther is like just always willing to like, okay, we're gonna fight because it's the right thing to do. Because he's very similar to Cap in
Mm-hmm.
that, like, if it's the right thing to do, I'm gonna do it.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, I would
Yep.
give that a 5 out of 5.
Yep. It's a good movie for sure.
Endgame,
So Endgame is like
it's a 5 out of 5.
Endgame is like the most like one of the most cinematic like experiences of the last several
Mhm.
decades. Like it's the culmination of almost 10 years of
Yeah,
movie making. Several movies all coming together in Endgame. It uh, I I like the time travel thing. They do it creatively. They do like there's some creative elements to it. I love the Captain America fighting Captain America um
yeah, that's
scene.
phenomenal.
I love the I love Tony Stark interacting with his dad. Like
Yes,
those kind of things.
and also the cameo of Jarvis
That was
in
fun.
that
Yep.
scene
Yep.
was cool.
Yep. It's super neat. Captain America picking up Mjolnir is one of the greatest scenes in moviedom.
Mhm.
And so it has that for it. It has some awesome scenes. Here's to me the thing that brings Endgame down. Captain Marvel saves the day,
No, she doesn't.
and I hate Captain Marvel.
She doesn't save the day.
And she shows up, and it's like, oh, what are
Scarlet Witch could have taken care of it. And that's why I'm okay with it, was because they show it as Captain Marvel is saving the day. The reason that Captain Marvel has to save the day is because Thanos is too weak to withstand the power of Scarlet Witch. Because she is shooting whatever at him, and he tells the ships to just rain down fire.
Uh huh.
And that's why
Yeah, I didn't like that
he
Captain
doesn't
Marvel's
save
like
the
the one.
day.
I,
Tony saves the day.
Tell
So,
right.
and so,
And that's another thing too. I don't think it would be fair to mention Endgame without mentioning that like it completes the character arc of Tony Stark.
right.
Which we start off in Iron Man where he's like really really full of himself, and then he says I'm not going to sacrifice everything, and then he does,
Right.
and it's just it. it's neat in that respect, but it ruins Captain America too.
So
Absolutely ruins Captain America. Like the whole like Captain America like the
it
whole thing
does.
is that he gave that up. Right?
The,
He gave up
the
the
whole
life
thing,
that he wanted.
it's not that he gave it up, it's that I mean, he didn't have a choice.
He could have jumped out of the plane. He didn't have to fly. He didn't like have to necessarily, do what he
It's
did.
implied that he had to make that choice.
Right. I don't know. It just like
So here's my problem. I think it's a phenomenal movie. I love when Natasha goes to get Hawkeye from his whole rampage.
uh
Um in the, don't do that, don't give me hope. Um Ant-Man coming back from the quantum realm, like all of the good scenes that you also mentioned.
mhm.
Also the when Cap picks up his broken shield to fight Thanos and thinks he's alone, and then he hears the on your left,
Mhm.
and
Great.
all of the portals start opening, and everyone comes.
It's a great scene.
It's just like like you said, the culmination of like 10 years of filmmaking.
Mhm.
Hot take: Tony didn't have to die, and it's not that I'm not okay with a character dying. I am. Reason why I don't think he had to die is they are now bringing back RDJ as some random character. And if
Mhm.
you really wanted to keep RDJ, then just have him save the day, have him retire, and have him make random cameos. Don't kill him and then bring back the actor for another role.
Yeah,
It's stupid.
we all like Marvel's kind of
That's a whole other
stints in game,
conversation.
but
I agree with you on it kind of ruined Captain America storyline because also this is going to the TV shows, which we're not really going to discuss, but in the Agent Carter TV show, Peggy moves on. Like, it is a pivotal part of her storyline that she finally moves on from Steve. She loves him, but she moves on because he's dead. To have him go back in time to be with her, and I know people are saying it's a different universe and all of the weird whatever, but it just ruins her character arc and it ruins his. And regardless of how you think, I think they also should have just retired the mantle of Captain America. Like, Falcon is a phenomenal character. You don't need to make him Captain America. Um, and there's like we'll discuss the Spider-Mans and Shang-Chi. Because I have you seen Shang-Chi?
I've never seen
I can
Shang-Chi.
give my opinion on that. But also, and I think we both agree on this, I feel like they should have just ended. Marvel should have ended, except if they wanted to do a couple backstories with Endgame.
Yep,
Give it 20 years, and then if you want to make some stuff again.
I agree.
The continuation of it gives that movie almost
Wait,
less of an
what
impact.
what was the title of that movie again?
Right. And so, like, even like,
Endgame.
so for the Star Wars fans, there was the originals, and then they gave it, what, I don't know how many years in between, 15, 20, and then they made more, and then
Then they gave it a backstory.
Right.
And guess what happened when Star Wars tried to do a sequel
Right.
after Return of the Jedi? 3 terrible movies.
Right.
Okay.
And so that's what I feel like
Marvel. They're running into the
they
same problem.
tried building on something and they needed to just give it a rest.
Yep.
Like, it was great, and now I don't want to go see Marvel movies.
No.
I don't. So, I guess we'll go through the next two Spider-Man. Okay, so Spider-Man Far From Home. This is the Jake Gyllenhaal one.
2 bad movie.
I hate the Jake
I didn't
Gyllenhaal
like
one.
it.
It's just it's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
The whole like all that and the whole like him revealing Peter Parker. Like, here's my thing. Everyone like in Marvel, but also like in the real world, we know things can be made to look a certain way. In the entire world, knowing Peter Parker's name really wouldn't have had that big of an impact. Everyone knew who Tony was. Everyone knew who Captain America was. It's not that big of a secret that there's superheroes out there. And they made it into this whole like, oh no, he killed. I can't remember anything.
I agree with that.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
Shang-Chi, I'll just give, I've only seen it like twice. I thought it was pretty enjoyable. Similar to like the like comedic style to like the Ant-Man movies. I thought it was pretty good. Um, we haven't seen Eternals, and then this will be the last one we do because, well, have you seen Black Panther: Wakanda Forever? Okay, I haven't either. Just making sure. Okay, so this is gonna be the last one we're gonna do because this is the last one we've seen. Spider-Man: No Way Home.
One or two. Terrible movie. Complete total fan service from the beginning to the end.
It
No plot.
it's fan
Fan
service.
service.
Here's my problem. We couldn't have Spider-Man No Way Home without Spider-Man Far From Home. And because of that, I have to give it a lower rating. I have to give it a 3 instead of a 5 because it is fan service and I'm 100% okay with that because I loved them bringing back Andrew and Toby.
There had to be a better way to do that.
And that's my problem.
Yeah.
Because I think Spider-Man Far From Home is horrible. That should have never been made. You know, I think Tom Holland is great as Peter Parker. I think Zendaya is great. It's got to be lower than it could have been because, yeah. And then everyone forgetting who he is, and then like it could have been made a little bit better if like they had him go up to MJ and MJ remembered him. I hate that he goes up to MJ and then just walks away.
It was a terrible movie.
So I don't know. So yeah, that's what we've seen.
Yeah. Yeah. Please let us know what your thoughts are
Yeah.
on all of
Do
this.
you still love Marvel? Do you think they're better after Endgame?
If you have takes that are different than ours, you probably do.
Yeah.
And you're welcome to share them. We won't change our minds, but you're welcome to share. You're welcome to share. In fact, if you've gotten all the way to this point in the podcast, we're thankful that you've listened this long.
Thank you.
Are willing to hear our musings about Marvel. We plan to do
More of these kind of things. We love just discussing different things. We see like very similar interests in some things and then very different in others. I love rom coms. He doesn't, but he will sit through rom coms with me and he will rate rom coms with me. Um, so maybe we'll do a rom com one. We can do a Star Wars one. But yeah, if there's things that you guys would like think would be fun to hear us discuss, let us know.
comment.